welcome to Business Kingdom for Life. My name is Susan Muthi, and today we will be looking at emotional wellness. What is emotional wellness? Well, for our definition, as usual, let's go to the Bible and see what the Lord has got to say about emotional wellness. And today we are looking at the verse from Matthew 22, verse 37 to 40, where the Pharisees asked Jesus, what is the greatest commandment? And this is what Jesus responded. He said, and I read, Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. And from that, I then deduce something very, very simple. Emotional wellness is the ability to love and receive love. To be able to love and receive love. So it's a give and take. But what is it a give and take of? To figure out what that is, let's look at the definition of the word love as used in this particular scripture. And that is very important because we live in a time and an age where we say, oh, I love this, I love that, I don't love this, I don't love that. So it's very, very fluid. We've literally, in a way, lost the meaning of what love is. And I know there is 1 Corinthians 13 that tells you all the different definitions of what love is, or what love is, or how love should be. But the problem for now, whereas that is very, very true, the problem for now is that there's a way that places a burden that is actually totally unachievable. And the reason it's unachievable is because we are not able to do what 1 Corinthians 13 demands, which is to your neighbor. That is telling you how you're supposed to behave to your neighbor. Because in the first instance, we don't know how to love ourselves. And the reason we don't know how to love ourselves is because we don't know how to love God. It's that simple. And so we need to look and understand when Jesus is telling us, love God. What does that word love mean? And it's very simple. That word love in this scripture means to welcome, to be fond of, to be well pleased, and to be content. So Jesus is telling us when you love God, you welcome him in order to love God, you simply welcome him. You're fond of him, you're well pleased with him, and you are content with God. That is what that word means. And then we see with all your heart. Well, this is with all your desires, with all your ambitions, with all your purposes. So welcome God, be content with God, be pleased with God in all your desires, in all your appetites, in all your purposes. And with all your soul simply means with your will, with your ability, with your willpower. The inner strength that you and I have in ourselves. That is what it means to love God with our wills. And finally, with our mind, it basically means with our understanding, with our thinking, with our imagination. Welcome God into your imagination. Be fond, be content with God in your imagination. When you go out, you're shopping. It might sound silly, but if you're shopping, just ask God, okay, so what do you think? This pair of this skirt or this dress? This trousers or this trouser? This shoe or, it's literally that simple. You're welcoming him. You're content with him. You want to know what's his opinion. Even if it's really not earth-shattering, it's not life-changing. It's just that thing. If you had a best friend who knew you inside out, 24/7, 365, there's absolutely nothing you could do or say that would shock them. Wouldn't you? A constant activity, inviting them, asking them, so what do you think? This is what I think. What's your opinion? Okay, that one, Lord, I really don't like that one. But okay, you like it, fine, no problem. It's that. And that is what is so crazy about it all, is that God, we can't do that in and of our own strength without first God coming in and without us allowing God to come and teach us how to ask him of his opinion. We need God to come and show us how to welcome him, how to be content with him. I mean, guys, there are many people who are rich. You would think money, yes, money solves all problems. Well, it solves many, but it doesn't solve all, because at the end of the day, your money cannot teach you how to love yourself. No person can teach you how to love yourself. That is the function of God. God is the only one that can come and teach you how to love him, how to be content with him. And the more you're content with him, the more you become content with yourself. The more you begin to see yourself as being enough, clever enough, beautiful enough, funny enough, competent enough, articulate enough, whatever enough, I know there's no such word, but whatever you're unsatisfied with about yourself, if you allow God to come and teach you how to be satisfied with yourself in that regard, it flows. You then are able to love him back, accept yourself, and you are then able to love your neighbor. You're able to cut your neighbor slack. You can see there they dropped the ball, they did this, and your neighbor is not your next door neighbor. It's the person right next to you, the person in the matatu, the person in the lane, in the traffic. You're not going to move 1 meter, cut off the person coming across simply because, and you're going nowhere. You stop and you become considerate of other people. You look at the traffic and you see, okay, I'm at a T-junction. I'm going across the other side. There's nowhere I'm going. But if I just move even 1 meter, 2 meters, I block this traffic. So let me stay here. Let there be enough space created on the other side so this traffic can pass here. If we simply just learned how to love ourselves, the harshness we show one another, we think, you're Nissan, whatever. No, that is what you're doing to yourself. You're not able to love yourself. You're not able to cut yourself slack. And even when you cut yourself slack, you're cutting yourself slack in all the wrong places. You're doing that which is actually detrimental to yourself, which is where we end up with mental illnesses. To be honest with you guys, I'm not disparaging or making mental illness a two-bit thing that is not important, and this is its simple remedy. Frankly speaking, it's not a simple remedy. Allowing God to teach you how to love him and how to love yourself, people, that is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. But I just stop and think about it. If you are able to be enough, if you felt that we didn't have to keep up with the Joneses, oh, so-and-so has gotten this, so even me, I must get this. Oh, they went to Coast for holiday, even me, I must go to Coast for holiday. If you understood that you don't have to live for an audience of 1,000,001 people that couldn't be bothered about you, but you only have to live for an audience of 1, and in living for that audience of 1, you learn to love yourself, it is so much easier to be satisfied and content with your life. It is so much easier to not allow people to beat you down or to allow circumstances to beat you down, because then you're not defining yourself based on what the circumstance or the situation around you is saying. And even as I say this, I promise you, I have not attained this full measure of emotional wellness. It's something that we continuously work to every day of our life, allowing the Lord to come and heal us in those places where we are really actually so deeply wounded. We don't know whether we are coming, going, or gone. Loving God is really just allowing him. That is what Jesus is saying. Just making room for God in your life. That's what emotional intelligence is. That is what the greatest commandment there is allow God. And when you allow God, you're content. So even the praise, the songs you sing to him, if you're a singer, if you're a worshiper, I can't sing to save my life. So that one we've agreed with the Holy Spirit. It's good. The one I can do, I will do because I'm talented in that. I'm not, as much as he says, sing, make a joyful noise to him. We sometimes, even the noise is exactly that to me. So I quit while on my head. But even in that joking, it's being content. The way you would be content with somebody you enjoyed spending time with. That is emotional wellness. And when you are emotionally well, when you're well balanced, you then you go to the next level of emotional intelligence. You become more self-aware. And because you're more self-aware, you're able to manage yourself better. And you manage yourself better, you're better able to have better, healthy relationships. So, guys, in this year 2020, because that's what we're on at the very beginning and going into the decade, let's also make a commitment to ourselves and to, first and foremost, God, to allow him to love us, to make space and room for him in our lives, in our hearts, in our minds, in our emotions, in our desires, in our ambitions. Allow him to change things and say, no, 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 let's do this. Now, give him that room, because that is actually all God is asking for. Will you make room for me? Will you have space for me? Will my opinion be of value to you? And will you be content with me? That, guys, is emotional wellness. So thank you for joining me for this session. Join me for the next one, where we will be looking at intellectual wellness and what it is. Thank you very much, and have yourselves a very, very, very blessed time.